It is Wednesday, the 12th of August, 2026. I'm here by the River Foss, and there is a solar eclipse going on, but I don't want to talk to you about the solar eclipse. I quite frankly care about a lot of things a lot more than the solar eclipse. I won't say I don't care, but I'm not astronomically inclined, and all of the major calculations that were done astronomically with eclipses have sort of, I mean, obviously there's going to be more of them. It's not my field, basically, but it's quite interesting. So I'd come for a walk, but while I was on this walk, I was reminded of something, actually, which I wanted to draw your attention to. It's my favourite sign, my favourite local sign that I have seen, and it's there. Now, there's something about that sign which reads, and I beg your pardon, I can't recite it from memory, so I'm going to have to turn around to recite it. Notice, this field has not in any way been dedicated to the public for any use whatsoever. There's something inherently British about that sign. I love it because it's entirely futile. It doesn't tell you anything interesting because not only is there not a field behind me, there's just a sort of wooded glade, as it were, by the banks of the river. But, I mean, in a way, it's sort of, is it true? Because it hasn't. It's full of trees. And I can't imagine that this place ever was a field in the time that this sign was put up, because the sign looks incredibly modern, or I shouldn't say modern, incredibly contemporary. So the idea that all of this foliage sprung up, that sign couldn't be any more than 40 years old? I don't think that all pops up in 40 years. I think that's all been there for a good deal longer than that, at least. So yes, this field has not in any way been dedicated to the public for any use whatsoever. There's something so, what is the word? Misandry? No, misandry. Misanthropic. Misandry is the hatred of men specifically. Misanthropic is the hatred of mankind. There's something misanthropic about it in the case of, yes, you can walk here, but it's not, we haven't made this so that you can walk here. You know, you are acting against our wishes if you walk in this space. This space, we didn't dedicate this to you. This is space to be dedicated to absolutely none of you for any reason whatsoever. We'll let you, but we hate you. In a way, it's sort of glorious in the same way that sign not in use is glorious. You see sign not in use, especially when it's a printed sign. It's really something. Anyway, yes. Further notes, because I'm filming now, so I may as well just keep talking, is about solar eclipses. Now, they were widely regarded in the ancient world as a bad omen, that something bad was going to happen, which is not thrilling, given that this is Results Day. I'm reminded of a particular episode that Thucydides recounts when he's dealing with the Sicilian expedition, when he talks about a lunar eclipse happening, and the Athenian general, Nicias, whom I would regard as one of the truly great men of history, who never wanted to command the expedition, by the way. It was Alcibiades, who was a rank rotter, who decided that the Athenians should go on this expedition. And Alcibiades basically got appointed because everyone thought he was so great, because he was brilliant. But he didn't want to go on the expedition at all. And then he says, okay, right, well, if we're going to do this expedition, let's double the troops. And he thinks, okay, well, if I say double the troops, then they'll never want to spend all that money. They won't go on this expedition. But everyone votes for it. So he's, sugar. Now I'm really in the doodah now. So he's commanding this double-sized expedition to go to Sicily, which is just completely outside the tactical remit of the war. And it's entirely likely that Athens was more or less on top at that stage in the war. This is the Peloponnesian War, by the way. Anyway, so forgive me, I cut the shot, but there were some discerning members of the general public walking their dogs, and I thought I'd best not be filming to disturb them. But I've started the story now, so I suppose I'm going to have to finish it. So Alcibiades gets this expedition put on. Nicias doesn't really want to go, but he goes anyway. It goes pretty well at first. Then the Spartans send out some chap to help the people in Sicily, and it starts going dreadfully. Now, what was his name? Gylippus, that was it. The Spartans send out Gylippus, it starts going dreadfully. Alcibiades ends up getting called back to stand trial for his horrible crimes, which he probably didn't commit, but he was a rotter anyway, so, you know, this is like when the BBC got done for making Donald Trump look bad. He wasn't bad for that particular thing, but Anyway, so Alcibiades gets rightfully put on trial, and that's a completely another story. But more or less, the expedition starts to go south, and Nicias says, right, we're all going to get out of here, we're going to go home. But Nicias is a very superstitious man, and there is a lunar eclipse, which Thucydides tells us about, and Nicias interprets this as a bad omen. And so he says, right, we're not leaving on this particular night. And This is unfortunate because on that particular night, that was the one chance they might have had to get away, because the Spartans were having a big party because they were winning. There are intricacies to that story, but essentially, it's kind of it's ironic that that Nicias took the lunar eclipse as a bad omen, and thus did not choose to escape, whereas actually it would have been his only chance to escape. So there's a point about sort of how belief in things can have pragmatic consequences. I think I possibly mentioned that the last eclipse we had in this country was, I mean, it's not eclipsing. You can see on my face, it's very much still sunny, and it's pretty late. Yeah, the last proper eclipse we had in this country was 1999, I believe. And Tony Blair in or about that year abolished the hereditary peers, so that was definitely an omen of bad things to come. So I suppose all I hope is that this is not a bad omen for my exam results day. But then again, the fact that I can tell you all that about Thucydides implies that actually I do know my ancient history at least reasonably well. So that's a point to be confident about. I don't know what they're guarding in this field. It just... It's the same stuff, both sides of this gate. Very strange. Anyway, that's about it. Wonderful sign, and take care.